5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve.
All right, it's Friday! All right, we have our excellent talented guest today, Frankie Ray in the house from Tampa, Florida. And we'll let LJ play a little Paul McCartney, guitar player, for Paul. He kind of knows the song. Hello and good morning. Welcome to Live with Neve, coming from the northeast corner of America. Beautiful New York City is across the harbor, and it is gorgeous here. I don't know where you folks are watching from, wherever it is. The weather here is dramatically killer in New York City. It's approximately 60 degrees. There's not a bit of humidity, and life is good. It's really a beautiful day out, and I hope wherever you are, it's a beautiful day. We have an excellent guest today. We have a singer-songwriter from Tampa Bay area, and she is Frankie Ray, and she kicks ass. And I really think you're going to like her. She's been working hard for a long time, has a lot of songs. And Tampa Bay, of course, is home to my heart and a lot of my family. On a more serious note, I'm going to mention something for my Tampa friends and for all of us out there. It's a really sad topic. My brother-in-law passed away 2 days ago. My ex-wife's brother-in-law passed away. For those of you who know me and know him, Dale Bennett was a hell of a guy. And I'm just going to take a moment here to eulogize him because he was really a superhuman being. And even though my wife and I divorced, we all remained friends, including my ex. We still talk and we take our kids to family events. And I'm just going to tell everybody this. Live your life and be happy. Don't be one of those people who goes through life and doesn't realize the value of it, because once it's gone, it's gone. This guy's 2 years older than I am, and he just died. He's been on heart medication. They took him to the hospital. They're supposed to do surgery. Couldn't do the surgery, and he got sepsis and passed away. So I know that's a really grim thing, and it is. It's really awful. I still really haven't even processed the fact that he's passed away. But remember, folks, we get one shot. As you get older, those shots, you get less of them. So if you're young, go out there and kick ass and attack the world. It's your oyster to eat, man. Take advantage of all the opportunities. And what I'm going to say this, don't be an asshole in life. Don't alienate people from you, okay? As you get older, it's easy to fall into the old man or old lady syndrome and just get cranky. But we're all going to get older, hopefully. And if you don't, and you've lived a life that you just not happy with, change it. It's within your power to be a different person tomorrow. Whatever you have to do, take care of your friends, love your family, and be a good human. Don't be one of these schmucks screwing up things. So, enough about that. Dale, wherever you're at, man, I miss you, and we'll see you wherever the great gig in the sky leads us. Okay. So we have some interesting news today. As you know, if you've watched the show, I try to find the news stories that are positive if I can, or if not, I find people in Washington are fleeing town. I don't know why. It's like rats jumping off a ship sometimes with those guys. We've got some ballots damaged in a USPS mailbox fire in Phoenix. I don't even know how they have mailbox drop-ins in Phoenix. It's so bloody hot that you get out of your car and it's like putting your head in a pizza oven, and it's really an awful place. Nice to visit, though. Most Americans anticipate 3-day election violence. Are you in that club? I'm not. Americans are not just going to go out and riot. I seriously hope not. There's better things to do with your time. And I don't know. It's like America. Your team loses, another one comes in. It goes back and forth, so deal with it. Radio station has replaced journalists with AI presenters. Yeah. I want to see what they do for AI for my show. We'll see what they've got figured out. We have Beyonce and Joe Rogan. Stars are powering up the election. It's so freaking boring. Everybody's talking about that. Who cares? Now, this is a story that's kind of interesting. And I ask all of you across the world, can an elephant sue to leave a zoo? What do you think? I love elephants. As a kid, they're my favorite animal. And 5 elephants in a Colorado zoo could someday sue for the freedom if the state's Supreme Court decides that animal rights group declares them persons. The justices had a few questions. How about cats and dogs? Well, any of us who have animals know that they're human anyway. Now, we do tend to anthropomorphize animals into friendly, happy things, which is great. If you have an animal that's trained, like I rode an elephant with my kids at Busch Gardens decades ago. They used to allow that. PETA and the other people at Eating Taste, PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, they stopped that, which I don't really think an elephant has a hard time with a dad like me and 2 little tater tots sitting on the elephant. But anyway, I digress. If you think elephants should be declared human, my point of this is I don't think they should be declared human. We should increase their protection massively everywhere. And there's also, on a side note, they're talking about bringing elephants to Colorado or some part of the country. Maybe it was Indiana where there's a lot of fields and so forth. And that idea has been kicked around for a few decades, and we'll see if anything ever comes of that. I know in Florida there's a few animal sanctuaries that have them and would seem ideal tropic for them, or bio, whatever. So enough about the elephants. Let's get on and see if there's anything worth reading here. Harris and Trump deadlocked. We know that. People on both sides yelling about how the other party sucks. This is an interesting case. I don't know what you guys think, but the Menendez brothers, back when I was a young guy, believe it or not, they got killed. They got put in jail for killing their dad and mom. They were Hollywood types. They had a beautiful house. They had millions of dollars, and the 2 of them are still own the house. Well, it appears that they may have had a tainted trial, and they're probably going to be released in the next few days. And here's a story that I think is great. What would house arrest look like when a robot is your prison guard? I think it would be really weird. Maybe later we'll do this. What does criminal punishment look? Under a new plan for low-level criminals, it could be a lot different to the boxy bear cells we're used to in the UK. To address the prison crisis in Britain, Shabana Mahmood has launched a review of sentencing with the aim to reduce the demand for prison places and reshape and design what punishment outside of a prison looks like. The solution, house arrest with a robot. Yes, indeed. Wakey, wakey, His Majesty's Prison Service is nudging you. So they have all kinds of things that are already, that, like your iPhone will buzz you. Now, having never been on house arrest, I don't know what the mechanics of it are, but it definitely sounds better than sitting in jail. And with an iPhone, they can just call you up. It's not like in the old days on probation, some probation officer popped by your house. Now they call you up on your iPhone or your iWatch or whatever you've got. And, there you have it. They'll be right up your ass. Anyhow, they're saying that these robots would cheaper and they could help offenders with chaotic lives. If anybody's hearing loud crashing outside, hopefully that's not one of the workers working on my house. They're out there building a new deck. There's video on my page. And guys, I hope everybody's healthy out there. If you do hear some banging and noises, it's a thing. They'll be done in a couple of weeks, and we will be, if the weather holds out, we'll do some shows live from my deck. You'll be able to see New York in the back and see the beautiful ocean, and life will be really fun for that show. And we'll probably have a live band on the stage, and it's going to be quite a hoot. Again, we have Frankie Ray coming up in just a few minutes. We're about to go to the break. And all I can tell you is you're going to like this girl. Great songwriter, and she's got the right stuff. So we're going to do a few commercial interruptions, try and get a little money in the pot here. But we'll be back in about a minute, and you're on Live with me. We'll be back with Frankie Ray in 12 minutes.
Like a melting flake of snow this year, I won't be sad to see it go.
Hi, I'm Darren F. Flynn, a singer-songwriter from Ireland, and I'm on Live with Neve.
I would have said it couldn't happen here. The people we
Hi, this is Leland Sklar, and I am hanging with Neve, and I am having the best time of my life.
Live with Neve Fridays on the East Coast from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Hey there, it's Kevin Sorbo here, and you lucky people, you are live. You're live with Nev or Neve or Neve. I don't know. I can't say the dude's name. Anyway, you're on live with him, so I don't know. I guess that's a pretty good thing.
There's some changes headed, like the Gulf Stream rising, like some gale that's been blowing off this wild bird island shore. And I can't say where, and I don't know when, but some old door's been opened in the restless shade. Poor man sagging cigarette takes the subway. Rich man folding old regret steps on the rundown.
And we're back. All right. We've got Carlton Wilkinson just up there. I've got to be doing some drumming on his next solo album, and we've had a couple of sessions to fill it out, and I'm going to be doing that in the next couple days, so that's a good thing. All right, we have a great guest this morning, and I think you guys are going to have a good time. Frankie Ray is excellent. I've been lurking on her various pages, listening to her music and so forth, and she's really good, and I think you're going to like her a lot. So a warm welcome for Frankie Ray. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad to have you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
How are things in Tampa? I forgot before we were talking. How did you fare in the hurricane?
Oof, so we got really lucky. I'm a little bit north of Clearwater in our area. We weren't in a flood zone. Besides losing power and maybe losing some meat in the fridge, we fared pretty well.
Great.
There are still some. I mean, I was driving around, the other end of my neighborhood, and there are still houses with, all of their belongings on the curb. I mean, you see couches, boxes of clothes, and it's just so sad to see. And it's still there even now.
I know. Like down on the beaches, and my daughter had a place in Indian Rocks Beach, which is now we just got it like 6 months ago and put all the work into it.
They got hit hard.
Airbnb type thing, and now it's a wreck. And the second 8 feet of water in their house didn't help. So there's a lot of people, and our heart goes out to you guys. I am a former Tampa native, and I consider it it's New York and Tampa are my homes, really for most of my life. And I lived in Tampa for 30 years, so I have a lot of friends, and really I have so many friends. I had to go to that thing online where people were checking in because I have so many people. I just want to make sure I got everybody. I said, look, if you need to come up to New Jersey, and I got a couple of rooms, if your house is devastated, you can come up here and figure out what to do. Yeah. But, thankfully, most of my peeps have done okay. Like you said, a lot of meat in the fridge. But I'm glad you guys were a little north and weathered it good. That's great.
Yeah. I have some friends who lost all of their music gear and guitars. I mean, it's just like,
damn, that's brutal.
On top of losing their house, so they can't even make money with because they don't have any gear now. It's awful.
Man, I feel for them. Maybe somebody in Tampa can start a benefit to try and help hook up some musicians or start a fund. Give your second axe to a guy who needs it. I mean, I have a bunch of guitars. I would certainly donate one to somebody who's bumming out, and you got to eat. And I would certainly support anything like that. So let's talk about you a little bit. What started you singing and playing music? And I'll ask the usual questions. When you started, were your parents supportive? And let you take it from there.
So I actually grew up in a musical family. My mother was always in a band for as long as I remember. My dad was a drummer and guitarist and singer. My brother was in a pretty popular band, aunts, uncles. So I kind of grew up, from a very early age, just seeing people play music, and I kind of thought it was something
That's
everybody did. But
that's like so good. My family had no
yeah.
musical ability. I'm kind of a weird mutant.
Oh,
And they were like, "What's wrong with him?" Anyhow,
yeah,
that's great.
yeah. No, I was lucky to, see that. And then, I did the college thing. I got a degree in elementary education. I figured I'd want to fall back. And then at a certain point, I was just like, I really just want to, because living in Tampa Bay area, there's so many restaurants and venues that, you go
Hmm.
play for 4 hours and you can make a few $100. And,
Right.
when I told my mother that, she got excited and she's like, there you go, do that. That's what I did before you were born and like all this stuff. And
Absolutely.
so she was really, really supportive, and it just kind of snowballed. Instead of
That's
getting
great.
a real job, I just kind of started picking up gigs here and there, and here I am
Hmm.
almost 10 years later, and it's working
That's
out. I
awesome.
really love what I do. It's a fun job. I can't complain.
Sure. I've always thought it's a privilege when I see what some people have to do for their work. They bust
Yeah,
their ass, and not that we don't. People don't
yeah.
understand the back end of being in the music biz. It's like a lot of
Hmm.
vans and moving gear. And
Loading gear,
the
yeah,
band
in
I
the
played with,
plane.
their lead singer's a girl, and she was like, I'll move this gear. And I'm like, yeah, I know you can do it, but let me just do it for you as a gentleman.
Yeah,
But she was
yeah,
fierce. She was super fierce. And I love that. I
yeah.
love the spirit of, I can tote my own gear, and
That's like
that's
me.
cool. I love her
Yeah,
spirit. I thought this is cool, and I still would help. It's just the way I was raised. And you know what? The way I
yeah,
look at it, whoever's up front singing, they got a hard job. I'm a singing drummer, and I know when I have to sing a whole show and I don't have any other singers other than like one or two songs a set, I'm working hard, harder than them
boy.
sometimes.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
want them to be, I want them to be helping load in gear. If you don't load in, if you're part of the band, you're going to get a dock. I mean,
yeah. We
I've
all
never
work
had,
together.
yeah,
And
I've never had a band that were such jerks that they would act like that. Maybe one or two, because I had to institute that rule, but it was decades ago. And I'll tell you what, it sounds mean, but that guy, I find him, he never screwed up again like that. He really screwed
good.
up. He,
Yeah,
he decided because I was taking care of business and trying to get paid that he wouldn't download my drum kit and have it in the van. And
yeah.
then when I went down there, he admonished me for not getting the money sooner. And so I told him, well, if you'd like to get a ride home tonight, I think you better get the drums packed up.
There you go. Yeah.
Anyhow, it was kind of cruel, but I did dock him $10. But
There
he
you go.
got,
It's not.
he just has shown too much attitude to everybody in the band that I'm like, wait a minute. You get to sit here all night, hang out, drink on our tab. You get paid money. So
Yeah.
pardon me for asking you to just do your effing job. But,
Yeah,
most of the
exactly.
time in the music biz, things are, I find people are just so great and helpful. I mean, I've had
Yeah.
everybody, you go to a gig and people come out, can I help you? A lot of nice people in the world.
Yeah,
And,
definitely. Yeah.
especially for a young lady who, you're a good looking woman. And I'm sure
Thank
all
you.
kinds of guys are going, hey, let me help you carry your gear.
Oh, yeah.
And,
If they know what
you
they're
know,
doing, sure. But then there's always that random person who has no idea where anything goes, and you see them putting
right.
this in the wrong spot and this, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's,
let me do it.
just put it there.
Yeah, just put it
Civilians,
there.
man.
And then it makes the process go even longer because then I'm like, well, where do I put this? Where do I put this? It's like,
Yeah.
if I have to explain the whole thing, you know what I mean? It's like I
Yes.
can just do it
I,
myself and have it done in 10 minutes.
the only time I ever let them help is I show them how to coil a mic cable, and I just go, just find a mic cable and put them right next to me.
Yeah,
Go away.
exactly. Yeah.
And I've got things to do, real things. I
Yeah,
pull,
yeah.
blow it down,
I
load it
got a
up, and
place for everything, so it's like it makes it go smoother. I know where everything goes.
do you have a band that is like your posse that you go to, your go-to guys?
Definitely. My boyfriend plays bass, and like he's always right there with me. And then I have
And what's
a
his
couple.
name?
His name is Brandon Freitag. He played bass
Okay.
on my new single that comes out today. Shout out.
All right, all right.
Yeah, I have a new single out today. So he plays bass, and then I have a couple drummers who kind of pick which one's available. One of the drummers, Frank Dancy, I've played with since I started playing gigs, full time.
Great.
He was always right there with me.
Well, that's awesome. It's really nice having people you've worked with over decades or a period of time
Yeah.
because it's so natural. There's no talking. You just get down and do it. It's that
You know,
mind melt of. I think that's the best feeling of music is when you have a great bunch of folks and you're playing together. That chemistry. I know.
yeah,
Like after you've been comfortable with people, I know for me, like I look at my bass player and he's sitting there, we're just doing it for the 1,000th time.
Yeah.
I'll just go, bah! Throw in a little kick that he hears. And he'll look around and he'll go, da-da-da. It would like start grooving off of each other. You never know where that's going to go. Sometimes like the whole band after the set goes, that was cool, man. Why don't we do that at another time?
Yeah, that's like, that's the same thing with us.
Having that magical, it's almost like a journey that you don't know where you're going to go. And I love that when you have that connection mentally. It's the best part of playing, I think. And it really, or I have a friend of mine who's passed away, my old keyboard player. And sometimes we'd have a pickup band. And the guy goes, well, what do I do if I get lost? He goes, just look at Neil. He'll bring us right in. And it worked because him and I worked together, played together, and he engineered a bunch of live recordings for my band back in the 90s. At any rate, JR was just like, just look at him. He'll bring you out of the lead on one. You know?
Yeah.
And we would do it. But it was that mental thing. And that's what's lacking in the bands that I see today. A lot of bands are decent, but they're not soulful, and they don't have that interplay. I know people say AI is great, and believe me, I know a lot about it. I'm using it. I've got tons of different things I've delved into to see how is it going to affect us. I don't want to be one of these guys. It's like when it was 1981, and I bought 2 drum machines. I bought a Linn drum, and I bought an Emu drumulator. And everybody around me was going, oh, you're never going to have any gigs anymore. And you're like, I'm just going to have a drum machine. And I'm like, yeah, you're a guitar player. You're going to program some great parts, I'm sure. You're going to think of every eighth note, you know. And I said, but what got me, I was like, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to go buy a drum machine. I'm going to learn this son of a bitch inside out. I'm going to go program this thing. This was before I went to Full Sail. And when I got there, you know, I'm like, I already had sequencing and all this shit done. In fact, it was before MIDI began, and I had to build a MIDI interface. Steve J built this for me, formerly of Thoroughbred Music, and I don't know if he's still got his shop on Hillsborough, but he is the brother of the bass player in Weird Al, if you need musical gear fixed.
Wow.
But he worked at Thoroughbred Music back then, and I went to him. I said, hey, I got this Simmons drum kit. Can you make a way for it to play this drum machine?
Yeah.
He goes, that's a damn good idea. That'd be cool. So no MIDI yet. He builds me a box, 4 inputs and 4 outputs, and I had all these drum machine sounds. Like when we played Beat It by Michael Jackson, we'd kick the drum machine on, play all the fills over it. And it was great for learning how to play studio stuff because you play over the track.
Yeah.
You know how a lot of drummers freak on a click track. But, you know, that's the kind of thing. And I don't know, where do you record? That's the next question I had that I really was curious about.
Yeah, so 3 of my singles were actually recorded in a living room home studio by a local guitarist.
Great.
His name is Rob Schaefer. He, you know, went to school for recording engineering and all of that stuff, but we just recorded it in his living room. My 2019 Brave album was recorded at another home studio in Tampa that was a little bit more, you know, put together. But I love the home studio where it's like, I'm recording my vocals and I'm right there next to the engineer. I'm not way back in some sound booth. You know, I did record my single Over Now. That was recorded at Zen Recording in St. Pete with Steve Connolly. So he
I know Steve, great. He's been on the show. He's great.
He's in my voice.
He's like Yoda of recording, man. The guy is brilliant. And I don't say that often. He's great.
But you know, there's still something, you know, you're all the way in the back in the booth and like it's just, I like that closeness. It's just
I agree.
For me.
I'll usually have the vocalist right there next to me when we record, you know, because I want to hear it too. And
I just prefer it. It's just easier. I don't know.
It is easier. It's not, you know, I hate being locked in a drum cage too. I really do. When they put me back in the booth, I'm like, put the bass player in here so we can jive. You know, I want to hear him, even if I hear him and he's out there, it just doesn't feel like when we're on stage.
Exactly.
My kit, when I would be fronting, he'd be standing right behind me, and my kit would be up the front. And I used to joke, that's so you can pop me in the head if I get flat on a note or something. You know, bah!
Exactly.
But, you know. So, how do you have any management helping you, or are you doing it all on your own nowadays?
Most of the booking is on my own. I do work with Bruce Wozniak with Now Hear This Entertainment. He kind of helps with like PR stuff. You know, I can't always like write a press release for a song or update this or
Well,
send pitches. to
he
different
introduced
podcasts.
me to you.
Yeah,
I have to say, and I was wondering if you were using other people or how that was working. I find if you have somebody good, stick with them, and
yeah. And then the
that's
booking and all that stuff, I pretty much just do on my own. I decide what songs I'm going to release. I reach out to photographers, and I kind of like that do-it-yourself system.
absolutely that whole
Yeah,
ethos is that's how it started. When I
yeah,
was a kid, it was up in New Jersey in Wyckoff. I found my grandfather's reel-to-reels. There was two of them. One was mono and one was stereo. They had mics with them. So I figured out that I could record on them pretty young. And little did I know that I was recording over his medical lectures
Oh
at the
no.
time. He had done all these lectures back in the 70s and 60s, and this was about 73, I guess. And I'd have my band down there. When I figured out I had a stereo reel-to-reel, I started recording my band playing all of our shitty songs like Deep Purple. And,
Yeah,
but that do-it-yourself thing, we didn't have all the gear. I used to record onto a cassette deck and get great results, but I had good mics, ran it through a mixer. And at the time, I thought I was like, some hot shit. But the
yeah,
recordings, if I listen to them now, are awful. But for us, it was like big time.
yeah,
We'd sit and listen.
exactly.
To hear yourself sing the first time, do you remember that?
Oh
Like
yeah,
first time you heard yourself in a studio and you go, do I sound that good? Wow.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. And like you especially, seeing it on a cassette tape or a CD and listening to it, you're like, wow, I actually have my music I can play for other people. It's cool.
yeah, it's exciting too. I mean, it's like giving birth almost. You take this
Yeah.
idea out of the ether and just put it together. And where do you find your inspiration?
So I pull from here and there. A lot of my, lyrically, a lot of my inspiration, it does come from conflict a lot. If there's something I'm frustrated about and I don't know how to really put it into words when I'm talking about it, it usually comes out in a song. I can kind of sit with that thought and kind of explain how I feel. Some people, I have some songs that sound, I guess, maybe not too complainy. I don't know. A lot of my songs are kind of born from conflict, but I have some that are, more happier.
Do you find that's helpful for reducing the anger or frustration? Not really anger,
Definitely, yeah,
but I do
definitely.
too. Writing about some perceived misery I've had.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good fodder.
Yeah, exactly. But I love happy melodies. I feel like even more lyrically, my strong suit is, just coming up with these melodies that are kind of catchy. And so I kind of put the two together. It's like, oh, it's not the happiest song, but it sounds happy melodically. So I like that.
Well, I like that though. I like when Steely Dan puts some really lurid lyrics beneath a beautiful melody, and you can't, I once read the words to somebody because I'd learned it, and it's a song. Don't Take Me Alive, is it? Anyhow, it's a song about a girlfriend and a guy having a sexual situation.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know it to listen to the song with this melody. And I told someone what it was about. And I'll let the audience figure it out. It goes, slow down, I'll tell you when. I may never walk again. Dun, 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 dun. It's Peg. It's a song about a girl who everybody thinks is like the shit, right? She's never been with a guy, and she acts like she's like this sexy glamour woman. And the song it's like hilarious lyrics. The first time I read them, I was like, I can't believe that's what the lyrics are. It was so funny. The humor quotient was so high, and I love seeing a little humor sometimes. I think humor deflects anger and the negativity of the world. That's my only way to deal with somebody who's really negative about anything. I usually first thing is humor. I'm going to try to poke fun at them or offer them a beer. Other than that, I'm just going to walk away if they're not worth the effort,
Absolutely.
But I think writing beautiful melodies with dark lyrics sometimes is kind of cool.
I love doing that. Yeah.
Or doing the reverse. Have you ever heard of the book by Brian Eno called The Oblique Strategies?
I haven't. I'll have to look that up.
It's an interesting book because it's for when you're working in the studio and you run out of ideas. And he'll some of the things are outlandish, like he'll say, does it need holes?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then he has something to the effect, I'm trying to remember some of the more clever ones. Sometimes the subject becomes the scenery. It's all these weird things that all to do is to maybe break the log jam a little bit.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. If you can find it free online, there's like prints of it. And it's fun. And I always say to people who are recording, if you're getting bored and you just feel like your song, it's there, but you want something more, page through it and throw it around the band. Somebody will come up with an idea based on it. It's something. And it's fun, and it's, it's kind of cool. Check it out, I think. So do you have a mentor, a musical Svengali? Is that your boyfriend, or do you have any people you really look up to that as you were growing as a musician? Who do you really like a lot?
Well, when I was growing up, it was a lot of those, female singer-songwriters who were popular in the 90s, like Jewel and Alanis Morissette and Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
I used to flip through Jewel's lyric book. Like, I remember her song Little Sister, about her little sister who has substance abuse problems. And, and I was like 8 years old reading these like deep, profound lyrics.
That's so funny to me. I don't think of you as that age then, because I remember I met Jewel and did sound for her once. And
oh, wow.
It was her first pair of earbuds. And she goes, "You're the manager guy. Can you help me with these?" And, I was like, this was the first pair I'd seen myself. I said, sure, just plug in. I was thinking the whole time, I was nervous because I'm not usually starstruck, but because it was her first set of earbuds, I didn't want to destroy her hearing forever.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to ask her if I could put one in my ear. It's kind of great. It's like, but I mean, it worked great, but I just had this in the back of my mind: do no harm, do not blow her eardrums into the stratosphere. She's got a gig tonight,
Oh, that's so
But it worked
cool.
out great. She's really a nice person. I only met her for 5 or 10 minutes. I watched her show and I fell in love. But I just said, this chick's going places. You could tell. She had that mojo, and I think you have it too. I don't see you just giving this up, and I like that. I like people who can persevere, and it's in their soul.
Absolutely.
I know I
can't do anything else. I don't want to do anything. I have a degree. I have a master's degree, and I don't, if I ever need to fall back on it, sure, but I don't really need to, and I don't intend to.
I can relate. I mean, I've been a sales animal for my day job. I worked for Muzak, the big expensive music company that had music worldwide in elevators. And it was great. I really had a great time. It was a great company to work for, in spite of all the jokes. I wrote most of them, so I know people make fun of us. I'm like, I've made them all up already 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But what do you think the future holds? Do you have any new strategy? You have a new single out, and you're touring. Have you been out west yet?
I have. I've gone out a couple times. I did a show out in Los Angeles at the House of Blues. Anaheim, Disneyland. Yeah. So I did a show there that was really cool. It was like a singer-songwriter showcase. And I did the NAM show out there for a few years in a row.
What year did you do NAM?
I did 2018, 2019, and 2020. And those were the 3 years that I did. And in the 2020 year, I got to play, one of the like Yamaha showcases. So that was really cool. Like the audience was full. And so I did that for about 3 years. And then I know they kind of switched the show around because of the pandemic. And so now I'm just, I'll probably go out there, I don't know if this upcoming year I'll be able to do it, but I definitely plan on going back there. And then I want to go to the Nashville one as well. But yeah.
I missed last year, so I'm hoping to be there this year. It's just to see friends and hang out and do that whole LA thing.
Yeah, it's always a fun time.
It's such a, I go back and forth, living in New York. It's a great place. I got a beautiful view of the ocean, and I love it. But the one thing about California that LA has that we don't have is there's this huge scene going on everywhere. Yeah. No matter where you go, there's great music being played. You never know who walks in, and to me, you can name drop and all that, but all the people that you might name drop when you meet them, they always that I've met are so into what they do, and they're 9 out of 10 times just great people.
Yeah.
Very rarely have I met somebody who's a jerk, who's a musician, and I'm talking even some very famous people have taken a minute just to say hello and be polite. I'll give you an example. Anthony Hopkins, I met him in Florence, Italy, while the shooting of Hannibal, and I was an extra, so I was buying a wedding ring for my child bride. I married a 22-year-old at 30 or 40 or something.
Oh, wow.
At any rate, I was buying this engagement ring, and they were filming on the Ponte Vecchio, which is the bridge that's got shops in it in Florence. Yeah. And I look up and I see Anthony Hopkins sitting on a flight case.
That's awesome.
And I was waiting, And I just went up and I said, "Hi, Mr. Hopkins. How are you today?"
Mhm.
I said, "It's great to hear an English voice." And he goes, "Oh, that's true. It's always nice to hear English when you're far." And I said, I said, "I'm not going to bug you. I just wanted to say I'm an admirer of your work. I'm here as an extra, and I hope you have a great shoot. Thank you for taking a moment." And he gave me the very polite, "Nice to meet you," and hell of a guy. But it was funny because during the crowd scenes in Hannibal, what we were doing is walking back and forth across the bridge.
Yeah.
And what Ridley Scott did with all those scenes was he made them high speed.
Yeah.
In the movie, there's a section, so I didn't get to see myself. And there was one time when
I was gonna watch and see if I could see
I
you.
was so bummed when I saw the movie. I was like all excited, thinking I'm gonna get, maybe you'll see my face walk by in the crowd because they shot it with booms as we walked, following us. And one time I screwed up and I looked at the camera. And I was like, "Shit, don't do that." I knew I probably killed that one long tracking shot. I was like, "Don't be an idiot."
Yeah.
But
It's funny.
again, I think LA, it's a little easier there in some ways and harder in others. There's an easier meeting people by happenstance. Your friend goes, "Oh, I know this person," and you'll get the hookup. And it works the same in New York, but New York's like we're different. The LA, everybody's mellow and laid back. Up here, everybody's all tight. We're kind of, and I admit it, I'm a rabid, crazy, aggressive drummer who, I'm a hot wired guy. And most drummers I know are like that. And I don't know, tell me, do you find most bass players are usually big, quiet guys? Because I've noticed this in my wife.
Laid back. Absolutely.
And, they don't talk. And even the ones who are my best friends, because I'm kind of hot wired, I'm the yin to their yang.
Yeah.
I know that at levels they go, "God, this drummer's nuts. He's just crazy," And I always make jokes about them. I'm like, "All right, just don't talk too much, okay?"
Yeah. And it's funny.
It's funny how that is.
You need the bass just as much as you need anything.
You have to have a great relationship. If those two don't have it going on, in fact, a good rhythm section can make anybody sound great. Because think about it, when you're just up there to sing, I could do a show with a keyboardist, a drummer, and a bass player and sing, and just be like, "That's easy, man. You can do any damn song you want."
Yeah. But it's really important. That relationship is very important because the lead guitarists too. I mean, they could fill in and do kind of whatever, but you need that foundation.
It's got to be, and it's got to be tight. And if you're singing the lyrics, they got to come in on the right verse, etc. Mm-hmm. Well, would you like to play a little music for us?
Sure. Got my
I'll tell you what.
Here?
While you get your guitar ready, I'm going to do a quick break. We'll get a little commercial interruption, and I'll see everybody. We'll be right back. We'll be live with Frankie Ray. We'll see you in a moment. Okay.
Hey everybody, this is Steve from Reach for the Sky, along with Jay from Reach for the Sky. And you're listening live with me.
If you need photos, if you're ugly as sin, check out Nancy Kravitz Photography. She makes even my face look good. And I have a great face for radio. By the way, this is my band playing a little music, people. Some Leonard Cohen for you by the Good Need Project.
Hi everybody, this is Donna Frost and I'm live with Neve. See you soon.
I'm Neil from Live with Neve. We have an exciting connection for our veterans, country music fans, and there is something for everyone. Gone Country Hats at GoneCountryHats.com. That's right, we've partnered with Gone Country Hats at GoneCountryHats.com. See you soon.
Here we are.
Hello.
All right. So you going to play us your new debut song?
Yeah, this is actually out today. It's called Back to You. I wrote it earlier this year, recorded it at a little home studio in Clearwater, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I really am.
It sounds great. I heard it last night. It was really very nice.
Thank you.
Cool.
So here
we are, everybody. Frankie Ray from Tampa. Or we could say Frankie Ray from Tampa Bay if we want to get all
there
radio.
you go. Hey,
You know?
Frankie Ray from Tampa Bay. I like that.
All right, here we go. Frankie Ray, people.
You can try to prove your worth to everyone else. Everyone besides yourself. Try on their clothes. Besides, you can compare the miles, the hours to everyone else. Put your work on the shelf. Treat it all in for a new trend. Do you forget just what you're fighting for? You toe the line when the pressure sinks in and the walls cave in. It's when you feel the rain fall, you'll ever understand it all. The world is just a game, you can win it back. Yeah, win it back for you. Just a little further now. You can leave the battle cry. You can take it all back here. Come on back. Come on back here. Running circles, trying to find your peace of mind. Yeah, push through the grind. Work for the man, follow the planet. Who sets the rules here? Who decides what's wasting your time? Oh, and to swallow your pride. No, thank you, I'm fine. I'll keep what is mine. To fight, to find the light in a world that's grown dark. And draw the line when the truth shows up. You never give it up. It's when you feel the rain fall, you'll ever understand it all. The world is just a game, you can win it back. Yeah, win it back for you. Just a little further now. You can leave the battle cry. You can take it all back here. Come on back. Come on back. Mm-hmm. To find the light in a world that's grown dark. And draw the line when the pressure sinks in and the walls cave in. It's when you feel the rain fall, you'll ever understand it all. The world is just a game, you can win it back. Yeah, win it back for you. Just a little further now. You can either pop or cry. You can take it all back here. Come on back, see, come on back to you. It's when you feel the rain fall, you'll ever understand it all. The world is just a game, you can win it back. Yeah, win it back for you. Just a little further now. You can either bow or cry. You can take it all back here. Come on back. Come on back to you. Yeah, come on back. Come on back to you.
All right, all right, all right.
Thank you. Back to you.
Very, very nice. That was excellent.
Thank
Great
you.
song. I can't wait to hear it again live with your band
Oh yeah. Yeah.
sometime. So when you come to New York, are you coming to be doing it solo, just with 3 other songwriters, doing the in the round thing?
Yeah, it'll be solo. It'll be just me and my guitar.
Cool. Well, that'll be great. I look forward. I'm going to try and make it. It'll be great.
Good, awesome. Hope to see you.
I always
there.
like to see some Tampa, people come up this way. I always try and go out and say hello.
represent.
There's a fair amount of Tampa expats up here roaming around.
Oh yeah.
Greg Paul is a guitar player from Tampa who came up to New York. He's an actor now. So
Cool.
I cross paths with him. We stay in touch. And then the guitarist for Dolores Telescope, which was a big band back in the 80s and 90s. Killer, great band. And he lives here. He works for the WMNF type station, the university radio. He's a jock there.
Yeah, I've done some.
They had a great band in the 90s. They were a lot of fun, just an outrageous party band. And kind of remind me of a smaller version of the Black Honkies. Just a big, freaking fun, maniacal mess. You know, I love it. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for coming on. I mean, would you like to, can I get you to play a couple more songs? We've got, I mean, you're here. I don't want to make you work too hard. We got about 10 minutes. So if you want to play a tune or two.
Sure.
I think people would rather hear you play than listen to me, you know? I mean, for sure. So, because you're really very good and you sound excellent.
I'll do one more here. This one's called Foot and Mouth. This is, I released this single last year. I feel like this one goes over a little bit better on the acoustic guitar. It's definitely more of a lyric song.
Hi, Bill. All right. Hey, Bill. Bill's a great bass player from the band Legion of Prague, and he's one of my good buddies and a regular around here. Spread the word of Live with Neve. Cool. So, all right. Everybody, Frankie Ray, take it away.
This one's called Foot and Mouth.
All right.
Foot in my mouth, that's how it always works out. Any minute now you'll pull away, misinterpret what I say. I never say anything right, and I feel the blame still, so I tell myself I don't care. I mean, what good does it do? And what am I trying to prove? I ask myself, is it worth it to sit around and forget the whole? Is it all on show? And everybody asks me where I'm going next. I'd have a plan if I could only find my head. But what's so wrong with staying here instead? Hustle through the races with nothing to show. My childhood eyes look desperate. I know it's this so hard to get ahead of a charade. A song and dance to forget the plans I've made. I feel like I'm always on trial here just to find what's never clear. I mean, what good does that do? And what am I trying to prove? So I'll just paint on my happy face and clown around waiting for who knows, putting on a show. I'll never have to wonder where I'm going next, 'cause I'd say anywhere is just as good as here. And maybe just baby, Mr. Guitar will appear. Ooh, yeah, sure, it'll all work out. Yeah, sure, the light, the tunnel, the yada yada yada. Yeah, sure, slow and steady wins the race. But I mean, what's so wrong with winning second place? I ask myself, is it worth it to sit around waiting for Godot? Is it all show? And everybody asks me where I'm going next. I'd have a plan if I could only find my head. But what's so wrong with staying here instead? Just fine. Stay here instead.
Very nice. All right. Excellent. I love that. That is really a nice tune. Really very nice. Well, so tell us where you're going to be playing in New York on November 4th.
November 4th, I will be at the legendary Bitter End. I love this venue so much. I love the people. I love the sound engineers.
Yeah, it's a great club.
They're
Yeah,
just
it's excellent.
such a great crew of people. And I love it. And tickets are available now. You can go to New York Songwriters Circle. I think it's just NewYorkSongwritersCircle.com, or if you Google New York Songwriters Circle, the link will definitely come up. So tickets are available now. There's still plenty left.
Hey, Bill,
so.
if I get a couple of tickets, you want to go with me, mate?
Yay!
Yeah, at any rate,
That'd be awesome.
I'll talk to him after the show. He's an excellent bass player. I want to give a plug to his band, Legion of Prague. You guys who watch the show regularly know Bill. He's a regular, and he's almost going to get drafted into co-host duties one of these days. He's a great guy and an encyclopedia of rock and roll knowledge. I have to say, I think I'm pretty good, but this is the guy who's got it to the T. I mean, when you're sitting around talking music, he'll have every detail, and I love it. I love that about the guy, and he's a very good bass player. Their band, anybody can play that stuff really well. Had to have grown up listening to it because it's such, like Yes and Genesis. These are all long form songs. There's a lot of memorization. You can't really just fake it. You have to have heard it. And King Crimson, and they're fabulous. Really great guys.
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
I'm talking about. He's going. I'm serious, brother. I'll call you later, man. He's like, oh God, I got to go hang out with this guy. No, I'm teasing him. He's really great people. And here we have a little plug for Bill at the Strand. That is going to be a cool gig. The Strand is a really cool venue out in Western Jersey somewhere, and I've seen pictures of it. Haven't been, but hell, I'd be excited if I was playing. It's a nice venue.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, here we are. We're live with Neve, and we've had the wonderful and talented Frankie Ray with us. And I hope you don't be a stranger when you get something new. Give me a call. We'd love to plug it. And heck, I'm serious. We are looking to buy something in Florida. So once I get down there, I'll reach out and say hello. Come catch you down there.
Oh my gosh, there's so many places here. Awesome places to play. Awesome people, and
Absolutely. I love. I have a love-hate relationship. I lived there so long, and I love New York. I just love it here. The food and the people and the rock and roll, and there's just so much going on. I really love New Jersey. Living just it's easy to get to the city.
Yeah.
And I grew up here. But the other side of the coin is I have my family's in Florida, so I'm at the age now where it's time. I've got a grandchild, and I don't want to miss her growing up. And,
definitely.
So as much as I love it here, I want to be down there for at least half of the year, and if possible, if it works out, I'll just buy a place and move there. As long as you have an airport, and Tampa has a great airport. You can get anywhere you want in the country. And I have to tell you, I've been everywhere. And Tampa's airport still is like the best anywhere.
I know. I hear that all the time. It's so easy it's clear.
Yeah,
it's easy to get through.
Every time I get through, plus I can't get a good Cuban up here. So I get off the plane, I grab a Cuban, or I go to not Velardo's. I go to Valencia Gardens, which is right there, and get a good Latin, beans, rice, the whole plate of palomilla and all that good stuff. But I really appreciate you coming on the show. You're great.
Thank you. I love that you had me on, and thanks to everyone who's watching. Thanks, William. You said great songs, so thanks.
We'll have a bunch of people over the next few days. We'll be lining up. The morning show is slow, but by tomorrow there'll be a whole bunch of people who watch it, and we got lots of friends. Cool. So we look forward and hope anybody out there, if you see this young lady playing anywhere, go out, buy a CD, and remember, people. Don't buy their crap on Spotify. Get up with the artist and get something from them. That way they don't have to get raped while they're selling their music. Yeah. And I say that not because those services aren't necessary, needed, but they're not designed by musicians. This is not Alpert and Moss, A&M Records, because if I designed it, musicians would be compensated fairly. That doesn't mean that those guys don't deserve some money, but the biggest problem we have in America today is artists don't get paid enough. And it's because the guys who are running the show are taking gazillions of talent, and it all started with Napster. So buy her record. If you don't know where to get it, call me. I'll get your message to her. I hope you sell lots of records, and text me your phone number so that when you're up here, I'll reach out to you. And,
absolutely. I'd love to see you.
Yeah, Bill's right here. Exactly. there's too many middlemen in America in general. You know, the people who really
Yeah.
bust their ass and succeed need to be compensated. And I have no idea how AI is ever going to replace the human spirit that goes into making something like you really love and put your heart and soul into. It's not just a mathematical algorithm. That cannot be transmitted. The feeling that musicians have. They can eventually get your feel and kind of get it close.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you. I'd rather hire my best guitar player buddy I know and have him really put some heart and soul into playing the bitchin' guitar solo than have to sit here and fiddle around with AI. Don't get me wrong. If you're trying to make quick demos for something, great, use it. It's like auto-tune. I never use that shit. And I wanted to mention, your vocals are exceptionally good. As you started warming up, I could hear you starting to go and hitting the high notes. You really have a great voice. And
I know, it's still kind of early. I'm not, well, it's, singing before 11. That's
Oh, I know.
That's fine.
Don't you hate those morning gigs? Like, I used to do Save Sunday for Ybor.
Yeah.
I'd play till 3 in the morning and have to be there at 9 o'clock for the load-in.
Yeah.
Be out in the middle of the street in that hot Tampa sun with a little thing over us. But I still love it, though. It's, you know, there's so much music in Ybor and so many good musicians that live there.
I know.
Yeah, you know, you also, Bill pointed out, your voice is your own. And that's what I think makes you successful, because you have a different voice. I detected elements of Joni Mitchell there that I liked.
I love Joni.
I really love Joni, man. She was just such a great lyricist and vocal. When she got into jazz, I really just loved. I mean, she had Jaco Pastorius playing, and the guitar player was Lyle Mays keyboards, Pat Metheny on guitar. That tour was just incredible. My friend says Joni meets Emmy Lou. Well, they're both got some voices on them. Emmy Lou can still sing like she sings unbelievable, like glass. And she's been doing this a long time. You know, a lot of us lose our voice or the range a little bit as we get older. But not in her case, man. I think it's a case mostly of use it or lose it. If you're not working on it all the time, you're going to lose range. And it's just a fact. You got to practice.
Yeah.
So, well you've been a real pleasure to have on. And for anybody, if you want any information, go ahead and give the plug again where you're playing and where to get your music.
So you can find all of my music and my full show schedule on frankieray.com, Frankie with an I-E, R-A-Y-E.com. And then my New York show is November 4th at the Bitter End, New York Songwriter Circle. The show starts at 7. You can get tickets on their website. I'll have a link on my website as well to get tickets. And then I play all the time in Florida, so my full schedule is up on my website. And you can find my music on all the digital streaming platforms or directly on my website.
All right, peeps. We'll see you at 4 o'clock. We have a great show coming up, and I will talk to you later, everybody. Out of here.
Bye.
Bye, then.